to, but the original one in the actual Army manual said, black boys.
Oh my goodness.
I thought, oh God, please, let me out of this. I couldn't see anything but the end of the earth coming after or something like that.
Well, did you convince him not to write the letter then?
No, she didn't write it. So I mean, it's blown over, and I just feel lucky that, in another not very long time I'll retire. I will have escaped all the consequences of political incorrectness. You were asking me about one other thing that happened when I have a son.
Tommy Thompson, Texas Moore.
Yes.
Well,
and Tommy, I was talking to a tax attorney, and he said, if I was interested in getting Tommy's college paid for, and so he said, well, I ought to put this house that I own free and clear in Tommy's name, and then the income from it he can use for his college tuition, and I wouldn't have to pay the higher tax rate. He would pay a lower tax rate, and he can use more of it for his college tuition. And I thought, gee, that's a great idea, so we transferred it. So then Tommy and I go down.
You transferred the property to Tommy's name?
Tommy.
Yeah.
So Tommy and I go down, to pay his property taxes. And, oh, that's interesting. We get down there, and it's the first time it's in Tommy's name, and they required him to fill out a voter registration.
Registration card? Now, is this at the Texas, Austin?
Austin, Texas County Tax Assessor's
office.
Commissioner's office.
Okay.
So we're down there. It's moved now. It used to be in the county courthouse, or in the basement of it. So we go down there, and Tommy has to fill out this voter registration card. So he sits there, and he's about 9 years old or 8 years old, somewhere in there, and it says, different things like address and all this stuff, and then it says down age. Well, as a physicist, it didn't say whether you ought to put his age down in years or months or seconds, or whether they ought to be Earth years or Martian years or Venus years. So I did a little calculation, and I think that, if I remember right, we put down something like 33 MY for
Martian years?
No, Mercury years.
Mercury years.
And I thought, that'll be confusing because it could be milli years. M is short for 1,000th. Anyway, so, about a year and a half goes by, and Tommy, my son, who's in the 4th or 5th grade or something, gets this request to go down for jury duty. So they call up, and they told him to get down there, and Tommy doesn't have a driver's license. So how can he get downtown for jury duty? So they said they would come out and pick him up. So, I thought this was all just comical.
Now, before this happened, he got something to vote, did he?
Yeah, he got a voter registration card.
He got a voter registration card.
Oh, yes, he got a voter registration card.
And did he vote?
We went over to vote, but the lady at the desk didn't let him vote in the real election. He voted, and they had a little practice thing so that you can go practice how to vote. So that when you went into the regular booth, you would know how to vote. And they can train you on how to vote at this practice table. So Tommy went and voted at the practice table, but
I see.
He was just kind of a toddler.
Okay.
But he had a voter registration card, and he was interested. Since he had this card, he wanted to go vote. So.
Oh, I see.
So here I go open the front door, and there's this guy, in a uniform and everything. I think that he was constable or something or other.
Uh-huh.
And he was there to pick up Tommy to take him down to the
For jury duty?
I said, goodness gracious, I said, Tommy's in school. He's in the 4th grade over at, the local grade school. And I don't know what happened after that.
What did the guy say?
He said that, he said that he either had to go to, he threatened me, or I guess he was threatening Tommy. He said, citizens either have to serve on jury duty or they go to jail. This is a requirement of citizenship. So that's when I sent him over to the grade school to get Tommy to go serve on jury duty.
He said, go pick him up, he's at the 4th grade.
Something like that, yes. Well, that's everything's like that. If you have an argument with somebody at the university about, say, whether a classroom's available to have a problem session in or something, and you call up the offices and say, Professor Moore, you can't have that classroom. You say, why not? You say, well, our computer doesn't, has that classroom being used by somebody else. And you say, well, there's nobody in there. And, well, we can't do anything for you. That's what our computer says. And pretty soon you learn that the whole university is being run by some computer and that nobody's in charge but that computer. So I always say, I want to talk to the person who's, the entity that's in control. Please let me talk to your computer. I don't want to talk to any underlings like the university president. I want to talk to the person who makes up my paycheck. And it's a computer. It's not the president of the university.
Kind of like how?
Yeah, it's really, it's...
You just remind me of something. You named your eldest daughter IBM. Where'd that come from?
Oh, that's really kind of a deal. When Ingrid was unborn as yet, I used to call her Brunhilde. And so Ingrid's mother wanted to call her Ingrid. And I thought that wasn't a very feminine name. So I said, well, if you're going to call her Ingrid, then I want to call her Brunhilde. Because that's what we've been calling her. And so the baby was born, and the next day I go to the hospital and I thought we were going to discuss the name. But she had already filled out all the paperwork, and the baby's name was Ingrid Brunhilde Moore.
And she works, she's like a senior person with IBM or subsidiary?
Yeah, she's in a managerial, she got a MBA degree and a undergraduate degree in computing, and she works for IBM. But she doesn't use those initials.
Oh, she doesn't?
No, she's shy like me. She doesn't want to be. She's married now to Gillespie, so her proper name is IBM Gillespie. And that's the way the ball bounces.
Well, can you think of any other interesting tidbits you'd like to leave us with this evening before you have to fly back to Austin?
I think there's a difference between scientists nowadays and scientists, a couple hundred years ago. Doing science is so much fun.
Really?
That a couple hundred years ago, people, saved up, only rich people could really be scientists because you had to support yourself. You couldn't fool the government all that much into giving you money. And nowadays, a lot of scientists are supported by the government. And